Hello there everybody, this is shadowgearinbox here doing a review on the Migrator. Oh man, this guy is a triumph and a confusion for me and so many people. Okay, so first of all, hello. Second of all, I love this MOC and I love him so much, and I had such a focused idea on what I wanted to do when I built him, and oh my god, the reaction people had when I posted him. And posted like a couple sentences, a quote that he would say, or like someone would say, I don't know, and like that's it. And put a picture, put him next to Namaste of all people. And people were like, "Oh my God, is this guy evil? Is he like Namaste's brother? Is he like the second form? Like, what's going on?" I want to explain. I'm going to explain. Hey guys, it's me again. Hey, last time that clip you just saw. Yeah, I recorded that a week and a half ago, and I have time again, so I'm going to continue this review on, as I always do with the feet and the legs. Now, I mentioned prior, these legs were originally meant for a Common Rider MOC, to be a bit more, sleek, kind of more of like a guy in a suit type of thing. But to be honest with you, this leg design was originally concepted for a new leg design for Minion, using these new very, very nice looking shin pieces that came with the Star Wars construction sets. And I still intend on making a leg design similar to this for Minion whenever I get around to updating him. But yeah, this is meant to be just kind of a test. That's why I use these construction feet, Hero Factory feet. Like, they're used for everything now. So I used it for him because I like using those feet for Minion. I did those little spike bits on the side to add some width and some more curvature to it. The colors, the red and the yellow here. So this MOC originally was supposed to have 6 arms, and I kept working on it, and I kept trying to include the 6 arms, and it looked okay, but I'll show that more off when I get to the torso. But it ended up not working out, so I put 4 colors up top and then 2 colors on the bottom. So these legs were originally just black and silver, but then I added the red and the yellow, and I'll get to why I added those colors and what placements when I, again, get towards the top. But yeah, that's the leg. I got a couple complaints about using CCBS and old Bionicle parts in terms of armoring, because I think this look here, like, despite the 2 different colors of silver, I think the curvature that goes along here on the CCBS and that matches up with this old Mari armor piece, I think it looks really cool. I do get the complaint though, like there are some bits that are like, oh hey, this piece has a bunch of holes in it that looks like an actual Bionicle, and this is more smooth, streamlined, and it definitely does not work with some pieces, but on this, I think it looks perfectly fine. I have no real complaints. And then you move to the bushes on the sides of the shins. When I originally made this design, these Bionicle armor pieces were just frictioned in. There are 4 long axles in between here that kind of like snuck, it would make it nice and collapsed. So there's no legitimate connection in there, but they wouldn't stay together all that great after a while because they just didn't work. So there's a 5 long axle on the sides here, and there are 2 bushes there to keep them in place, and it has been rock solid ever since. And the knee joint, I'm very proud about this. The knee joint on this guy is a good 90-degree bend, which that's nothing particularly great to write home about, but it's a lot of my MOCs have not had that great opposability lately, so I put a good old 90-degree bend there. And the leg is still stable. And I like that these armor bits can go past this leg here. So you're still able to get that full bend. That's nice. I took the skirt armor off for this leg just to give you a look at what is under this leg. It's nothing particularly crazy. It's just a more elongated, more armored up version of Minion's upper leg design. So there's nothing particularly too crazy going on here. And then you have the front, sir. Oh no, oh boy. Then you have the front skirt piece, which is just this little, what is it? Mystica wing, little Mystica wing piece, and it just kind of slots into there. If I can see that properly. And then you have the skirt piece, which that's how that's built. It's kind of just a way to get mixel joints in all together, and that snaps right in. And it gets out of the way. I mean, the hip can go out about that much, Probably should zoom out for that, shouldn't I? And hip goes about that much. Leg goes forward about there. So I think it's natural. I think I did a good job of making the skirt move along with the leg pretty well. And the front skirt piece works out nice. Like I added these, I pulled an arm off. I added these skirts onto here because when I wanted to work on Migrator again, I'm just like, you know what? These legs look way too thin for a guy that's going to have a bunch of arms up top. So I wanted to bulk out the hips, and adding these skirts worked out great. And people kept thinking, oh, he's going to be a new version of Namaste because you took a picture next to him and they both have these on his hips. No, that's not the case at all. So there's a couple things here, and I'm going to mention this again when I get to the head. So the lights here, I know it's nothing particularly crazy. So you have red and blue here for the arms up here. You have purple and yellow here for the arms up there, but then you have yellow and red, which are here. So I made this separate from these two here because the legs are separate from the arms, and that's kind of the similar thing I did with the lights up top on his head. So once again, we'll get to that once we get to it. But I like that little kind of like a belt, kind of like this nice little piece, because again, this was meant to be a Kamen Rider MOC, and I couldn't figure out how to make a belt all that great, but I kind of like how this looks. I think that looks really cool. And I'm going to take a look at the back here real quick because you really don't get to see much of it with the ring on. But yeah, it's just a little spike there. I probably could have done better in terms of more detailing, but it's just like, hey man, who really cares because there's a giant ring on his back? And then once you move up to the waist, you can see it's a similar design to, again, how Minions is built. Because it's not a bad torso design, or waist design rather, so I like to use it a bunch. Then we move on to the chest, torso. So I'm going to pop off these extra arms here, because so we can get a better look at all of it. So now it only has 2 arms, oh no, and he still kind of looks okay. So I really didn't know what to do with this chest. I kind of was just putting parts together and I came up with this. And I got 2016 Onua, and I'm like, oh, what can I use this launcher piece for? And I thought like, oh hey, a hexagonal thing there, so like purple there, orange there, red there, type of thing. And then I found this little sticker from an old like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set, and I just put that there. I could have done better with this chest. I mean, the spikes here, I was okay with leaving those there because there's a lot of spikes on him to begin with, and it kind of just brings these pieces that are on the rings back to the MOC itself to kind of, bring it all together. It looks fine. I like the way it looks. Could I have done better with this chest design? Yes. Will I in the future? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to update this guy or not. I'm not sure. But yeah. So we're going to move on to the side here. And I'm going to take off this other green arm here just to give you an idea of what I'm just trying to do with the 6 arms. So here on the side, as you can tell, you have this large, like, kind of triangular piece. So there was going to be a ball joint here, a ball joint right around here, and then a ball joint here on the bottom. And that, it looked okay. It was fine. You really couldn't make the arms flush down because these two were kind of conflicting, which is fine. But it looked overly bulky for no good reason to me. Like, for those of you who know and probably have already guessed, this guy's design is also kind of based on the game Asura's Wrath, on Asura himself. And I loved that idea so much of like the 6 arms and the heavy, crazy, overly action game. I loved that game. So I wanted to make a MOC similar to it. And it just didn't pan out all that great. I mean, you could put the arm here. I'm going to grab the green arm here. You can put that there, and that looks okay, but his arms are always out at such a point. And then you have another one here kind of clashing in. At one point in the design, I had this kind of 3-pronged piece that was like it was like a little windmill piece that had a bunch of axle holes and whatever. I don't know what it looks like. I'm going to show a picture. Hey! So I was going to use that piece and put a ball joint in each of the prongs, and you could spin that around the shoulder joint, so you can show what arm color you want to have in the front. So like, let's say you want to have blue in the front, but if not, you can swing it around here or swing it towards the back. And that was a cool idea, but for the scale of the MOC, it was too large. It made him look... The shoulder width was way too wide. It did not work out. So yeah, that's that for that. So I decided to put one down here because I liked how having arms down here towards the hip really looked, and put one on the back, making his chest kind of elongated looking. It looks okay. It is fine, man. It's fine. The arms themselves. Oh, I just realized the shoulder joint's out of place. Oh no, the arms themselves are a carryover from the original whip that I had. And I think they're fine. I think the arms. I normally don't do this Modifoot type shoulder design. I know there are some MOCs who do. Kind of this lower arm design inspired by a MOCist on Flickr known as Moko. And if you have a Flickr account and follow Lego, you probably know who Moko is. If you don't, look him up. God, he's fantastic. So credit to him for the hand design, the lower arm design. Like, it's not really his idea or his design, but like I've saw it from him first. So like, hey, there's inspiration. But I think it's okay. I like having these little spike pieces on the armor here. I think that's a cool touch. Just to add, like, there originally were like larger pieces here for the upper shoulder, like larger spike pieces, but it kind of clashed with the wheels, so I just made it all uniform. So, the reason why the color placement on the wheel is the way it is. So you have the green, blue, orange and purple on that side, and then red and yellow on the others. I'm gonna bring the wheel in here real quick. So there's the wheel. So I had a couple complaints of people. Whoa! Xamarin Spears are falling. That's not a good thing. So again, I had people complaining, being like, "Oh, one side isn't warm, one side isn't cool. That's not the correct color placement of a color wheel." And I know that. And here's the reason why. So here are factory armor. Let's talk about it. Oh well, I'll get to that later. Here are factory armor. Let's talk about it. So when I was originally going to do the 6 arms, I wanted all these to have uniform, like, arms. So, like, all the arms are either going to have that size of Hero Factory armor or that size of Hero Factory armor. Turns out a lot of them don't exist in those colors. Like, there's a bunch of armor that exists in the smaller size, but not in Mata Green, or this bright green color. There's one in dark green, but I don't want to do dark green. And then here, for this larger size, there's nothing in red and blue. So I'm like, man, what? It's a pain. It's a massive, massive pain. So I kept spinning the wheel design that I had and turned it to a point to where everything kind of matched up. So that's why there's red and yellow on the legs. That's why, because I used a larger size armor piece on that side and one for the purple arm as well. So that's why the orientation's a bit awkward. But I don't know, I think it's unique. I could have gone with a perfect thing, and that's what's probably expected for a MOC that has nothing but a color wheel. But I don't know. I think it looks good because you have the smaller ones in the front, ones in the back. It's not too noticeable, but it does add that symmetry to it that I do like. So that is that for that, and then we're going to move on to the head. That's supposed to be a cut, you know. I like this head design. I think it's cool. So if you guys remember our old MOC I made called Neobros, who has this very same head design, except it's a black hydroxin mask. But there's some fancier stuff going on with this one. This guy is not meant to be a Necrospherean. I don't know why you would think that, but because it's a similar head design, some people thought that was the case. So the whole thing is that it looks like he has eyes in the side of his head, which, by the way, is similar to how it works on the waist. So you have purple and orange there, green and blue there, and then to kind of make it different, you have yellow on the top and then red on the bottom. If I wanted to orient it properly, I could have done green, blue, yellow, and then purple, orange, red. But I wanted to have the purple and the orange be like, I wanted to have these color lights on his face and leave red and yellow up there because, you know, some of those are really common colors and I don't want to put them there. I don't know. That's just a preference thing. But people think of these are his eyes. These are, in fact, not his eyes. They're just meant to be decorative, if anything else. That's why in some of the pictures, it take these, fold them out, and then twist them around, and now he kind of just has, like, these, like, pseudo hair buns. Because, like, sometimes he'll be, like, in combat form, and he gets those out of the way. And that's what his face is supposed to just look like, just a blank face. I had some other ideas for this. The new CCBS smooth shoulder plate that you see on a lot of the Star Wars figures. I was originally going to have that be the face. And I still think that would make a really cool face for a MOC. it was too big for this guy, so I need to work with a smaller face. And then he has this little piece on the bottom, kind of like those nice metallic silver studs and like that nice smooth wraparound. You can kind of open this up to make it a mouth if you really wanted to, but I don't know. It's there. You just fold that back up and it's just like a little mouthpiece. I prefer to have Migrator like this, where it's just like the plank face and the arm bits on the back. I like the way that looks. But that's that for the head. Also, articulation for the head. It's a ton of joints. So it's there's a Hero Factory construction limb in there, so that can move up and down and move side to side. I also didn't cover the torso articulation, which I apologize for that. So for that particular, it's kind of self-explanatory. Arms are pretty good here. You can tell where they clash because there are two arms on one side. Lower arm does not have too much articulation because it's kind of hindered, but you really don't need to do much with it. So it can move out about that much until you start loosening that axle joint in there. This guy's all the way around. Shoulder joint, it's a little over 90. It's okay. And then wrist joint, you can tell it's on a mixel joint, and then you have these hands, which are all individually articulated, which that is a-okay for me. And then, again, he has a swivel joint here at the waist, if you really wanted to move him around. So there's that. Last piece we need to go over is the ring. And here is Migrator with his back ring on. It's axled in there, so this wheel does not spin. This little saw blade spins, but the wheel itself does not spin. Which is one of the reasons why I kind of cemented the colors on this guy. We're like, well, this arm is this color and that arm is that color, but that looks weird if the wheel isn't oriented right. So that's why it's like this. Elephant in the room. Yes, I know. There's no little rounded 2x2 friggin' plate there. I know that. I didn't care. I was impatient. I ordered another one because I could not find another one of those pieces in my collection easily enough, and was too lazy to go check to see if I really had another one. So, rip. So, yeah, I know that's there. It's not intentional. Well, it is intentional that it's there, but story-wise, it's not intentional or anything. Not like there's really a story with this guy. But, so the ring thing, like, one of the reasons why I wanted to turn this MOC from a Kamen Rider-esque thing into more of this, like, deity is because I love Elira a lot. Elira is the self-MOC of Toa Juni, my fiance. And I like that MOC a lot. And I would stare at that ring because I like the way the ring looks. And I would stare at it on the shelf and I would just go, huh. You know, you probably could fit a Zamasphere in there. Like, that sounds really cool. And so I grabbed a couple, I tried a design, and I made this little kind of ornamentive, like, hammer-looking thing. And so I'm like, oh, great. So I ordered a bunch of the parts, and I already had the color Zamaspheres already because I make bites. And yeah, this is what I got out of it. And I like the way it looks. I like the look of the complete ring, but none of it's actually connected. Like, it's implied connection. I like the way that looks a lot. The Zamaspheres, they stay in fairly well. Some of them stay in almost too well. It's kind of crazy. The only one that's a big pain in the ass is this orange one right here, because if you fucking snap your finger, this guy will fall out at a moment's notice. Which is one of the reasons why he's oriented here on the side, so he can just rest on the bottom here without falling out too easily. Like, throughout this review, it's probably fallen out maybe like 5 or 6 times upon switching camera angles and changing shots. So, yeah, there's that. I like this ring, though. I think it's cool. Also, as a nod to Elira, I did put the little saw blade here. Because in my mind, they're connected in terms of, like, them being on the same plane, like the same type of deity. I don't know. It's whatever. I could have done more here on the back. There's just this dish here. Nothing too fancy. I might add something later on if I find a cool enough piece, but for right now, it's fine. And if we switch him around to the front, that's what he looks like from the front, and you get more of those detailed pieces there. I like having that little thing there and those little spikes angling down, kind of like down, like a suit jacket type of look. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I like that kind of look. And these little pieces here, just this ring in general, I think just sells it for me. I think Migrator looks really good with this ring. There are some people who think he looks good without the ring, and I agree. I think he looks cool without the ring as well. But this ring to me is just a complete package for this whole MOC. I love this thing, and this MOC means a lot to me. He really does, because this guy was like, I started working on it in like September, and then school started up, and then I just had a massive MOC block. It wasn't because of school in particular. I just couldn't think of what to do, and I know some of you feel this way. You have a legitimate fear that you're actually getting out of mocking because you, for X amount of time, you forgot what it's like to build. Like, you can't think of techniques anymore. Like, do you think you've lost the urge? No, man, it's fine. Like, once I had the right ideas going, I got back into it, and now I'm have like all these ideas in my head again. I feel like making videos again. And maybe just like sometimes if you like overexert yourself, you maybe just need a break. And that's what I did, pretty much. So this guy is like the symbol for me of just like mocking is back. Like, here it is, like 2016. Here's this rad MOC. And yeah, that's it for that. So this is shadowgear655. Thank you for joining me on this really convoluted and long review. And I'll see you folks another time. Bye-bye.
Oh no!